are going to go ahead and start. We have a very special guest with us today, Ava Boothe. Ava, you look like you're not exactly the age of a lot of our participants on here. How old are you, Ava?
23.
23. Wonderful. Well, we are so glad to have you here. Ava, just to start out, where are you located? Where is home for you?
Mangum, Louisiana.
Mangum. And where in the state is that located? Is that close to New Orleans or anything? Or
We're about 3 hours from New Orleans, maybe a little more.
okay. So you're up kind of more in the northern part of the state, huh?
I am, yes, sir.
Okay, okay, great. So, at the age of 23, how long have you been long arming?
I started long arming in January, but I
Okay,
have been quilting since 2020.
okay. So you've been quilting since 2020. How did you start out? Tell us a little bit about how you
I
started out.
started out with my grandma, and I decided that I wanted to make a quilt. So I called her one day and I said, Nana, I'm going to make a quilt. I need help, because she quilts. And she said, okay. So she came to the house and she made me sew on some little pieces to get my 1/4 inch right first. And then I said, okay, I'm ready. She said, okay. So we went and bought our fabric, and it turned into a king size. My first quilt was a king size quilt. And
Nice.
after that, I said, I got this one done. I'm going to the fabric store. I'm going to get more. So
And what kind of quilting? How did you do that? What on a like a domestic machine or?
it was, so I pieced it on my like my sewing machine, and then I sent it off to a longarmer.
Okay,
And they have a Gammill too.
okay, very nice, very nice. So, all right. So tell us, your story. I know has got to be unique compared to a lot of the ones we've heard on here. How did you decide to start long arming? Tell us a little bit about that path and how you got from then 2020 to where you are now.
So I helped the lady that I bought the store from, Miss Didi Hebert, and I would help her work, and I would watch her because she has a Gammill. She had a Gammill in the shop too. And so I'd watch her, and then I wanted one for a while before that. And then the more I started watching her, she showed me how to do it and all that, and I fell in love with it. So I got online one night and I started looking at Gammills, and I just put in a quote. And it was a Saturday night. Holly called me Sunday morning and she said, I got this quote for you. And she just started talking to me, and I was like, okay, I want it. I'm ready.
Okay, so you got it from Holly.
I did.
Okay. Holly Zuber is yeah, one of our salespeople. She is was she pretty good to work with? You can
She
be
was.
honest with
She was
me.
great.
She didn't give
She,
you a hard time, huh?
no, not at all. And I probably stressed her out because I called her constantly, but she was so good.
Yeah, I think it's impossible to stress Holly out. She was actually down here at the headquarters. She's based up there in South Dakota, but she was here at the headquarters within a week or two ago, and she shot me. I think she shot me with a Nerf gun while she was here, or she instigated somebody else to shoot me. So yeah, she's a fun-loving person. Okay, so when did you get that long arm? Was that in January, you say?
January.
Okay, and what did you get? Is it a
It's a
Statler?
Statler.
Okay, and so how's that working out for you? Do you like you still love quilting or
I do. I love it.
good? And was there a big learning curve when you got that Statler, or do you feel
Not
like you
Not
got a good
really. It's easy to work. And once you just have, like, they did the training, and I had already watched Miss Didi do it some, but when they delivered it, they came and trained me on how to do it. And they really did step me in the right way. And it was easy.
great. So, did you get your did you get your Statler specifically to do a business or what was that for?
It was, but I had my own business before this through my house. I made quilts for the public. And so
Okay.
it was easier for me to have a long arm that I could use for my personal use and to have my own business from that. And then it just grew, and now I have a quilt store.
So, well, all right, I've got to ask, how long have you how long have you had a business, period?
I started my own business in the house 2 years ago, and did it
You were
throughout my house for
21?
2 years.
Were you 21 at that time?
I was.
Okay, wow. So you had, and what was that business? A quilt, like quilting, making
Yeah,
quilts or?
yes, sir.
Okay, okay,
And that one, I called that one the Crafty A.
okay, okay. Is, so, does that one still exist or have you just merged everything into your, your current quilt shop?
I still have it too.
Okay. Okay, so you got the Gammill. Why did you decide to go with a Gammill and how did you come to that decision?
We had gone to a quilt show in Branson. Um, it's got to be 2 years ago now. And I had looked at a couple of them, and I test drove some, and there was one that I did not like it, but it still wasn't what I was looking for. And so at the time I hadn't played with a Gammill. Well, from the first time I started playing with it, I was like, okay, I like this one way better. And if I'm going to do it, this is going to be what I get. And it's so smooth.
Nice. By the way, Holly said to tell you hi. She sent a minute ago here, so she's everywhere. So okay, so you decide to go with the Gammill, and so you have a Statler, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And is it a is it an Optimum? What size is that Statler that you have? You
Maybe
have
22.
Oh, 22, okay.
Maybe. I'm not 100% sure.
22 is the only one that doesn't have a name for the size. There's the 30-inch is the Optimum, 26-inch is a Classic, 18, which Statler doesn't come in, is a Premier. But the 22, it's just a 22.
Maybe it may be a Classic. I'd have to look at my paperwork. I'm not sure.
Okay. Um, okay, so you're up there, and what is the name of that town you live in?
Mangum.
Mangum. Okay. So when you bought this machine, did you know if there was enough business in the Mangum area to be able to do a quilting business, or?
I didn't. I know a lot of people that quilt, but we have a lot of long armors here too.
Okay, okay. Holly said it is a 22-inch, by the way.
Okay.
He's keeping me informed as we go. Okay, so you weren't sure if you were gonna have enough customers to finance this quilting machine and everything? You just kind of were just stepping out on a limb?
I knew I would have some, and I felt like it would cover the financing part. But then at the same time, like, I didn't know for sure, but I was willing to take that chance and do what I had to do to make sure I had a Gammill.
Okay. Okay, wait a minute. I just got a message from Don, who moved Ava's machine a couple weeks ago, and he says you have a Classic. And he says 3 hellos from him, so.
Hey.
So I don't know that we've got conflicting information going on here, but we're we're gonna get to the nuts and bolts here. Okay, let's see okay, I wanted to ask you, Ava. All right, 23 years old. Are you like one of those OCD type people who just wants to make sure you have every little detail taken care of? You plan things out for months ahead of time before you do them, or are you one of more of those fly by the seat of your pants type people?
I fly by the seat of my pants.
Because we have both that I interview, and I can usually I can tell I can tell which type they are when I first start talking to them. I can tell right off the bat that's the type that you were, because I'm that way too. So I guess, and as we're doing this podcast, the people that are watching, you guys, since Ava is the age that she is, you guys are also welcome to submit pieces of advice as we go too. Of course, they'll have to come through me, and I'll decide whether I'll air them or not. So, okay, so you started out right off the bat with a computerized, and you felt like that Statler and the Creative Studio software, you felt like that was pretty, yeah, you were able to latch onto that pretty easy?
I was.
Okay, see, I'm not surprised, because computer-based stuff, whenever I have questions about computerized stuff here in the office, because I work in tech support, you might end up talking to me sometime down the road for, if something's not working quite right. But yeah, anytime I have computerized questions, I'll holler at one of the 20 or 30 somethings in the office. You guys have, it comes second nature to you. You grew up with it. Us, anybody who's over 50, you didn't grow up with computers all the time. So yeah, you have an advantage there. So started in January. Have you been building your customer base any, or how's that part of it going?
I have. So before I moved it from my house, I was doing good. I had built it up a lot, and I was getting quilts sent in from North Dakota, and then I had a lady in Baton Rouge. I would have a couple from the house and just different people, and it had gotten really good. And then when I bought the shop, I actually moved my machine from the house to the shop to continue quilting through here. And last week I did 14
Wow,
through here.
very nice. All right, so how, at 23, I just gotta ask, how did you come up with the funds to A, get a Statler, and B, get a business? You're 23 years old.
Credit.
How did this happen?
Good credit. That's about
Good
it.
credit? Okay, good credit, huh? All right. So,
I cleaned. I have a cleaning business too, and I clean the dentist office locally, so I do that every Sunday, and that has a lot to do with it. And then, like I said, I have my own business on the other side, the Crafty A, and that helps a lot.
and the Crafty A has been since you were 21 years old.
21.
Okay. Wow. So what about before, have you always been kind of a driven person, like to get things done, or?
Not necessarily. And since I was probably 20, I have.
Did somebody make you do this?
Not at all. This was
Okay.
all me. Everybody asked me, am I crazy?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what makes you tick, and how all this started. Somebody, starting out so early with a business and everything. So there was no gun to the head, making you do anything, and you just came up. You feel like this was just natural. It just all came up naturally, huh?
It did. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I woke up one morning, said I wanted to go to college for a business degree. I went, got my associates in business administration. I now have 2 semesters left until I graduate with my bachelor's in business administration.
Wow.
And then everything's just kind of fallen into place. And I never hesitated on any of it. And I was like, this is what I've always waited for. And this is my passion. And this is my dream. And I'm ready.
So you really and truly feel that quilting is a passion for you?
It is. This is my life. Like, I wake up sewing, I go to bed sewing, I dream about it all night.
Wow. And so you do the quilting. Did you say 14 last week?
We did through the shop.
Okay. Do you have other people that do the quilting also in the shop? It's just you? So
Just
you
me.
did 14 yourself. Okay.
I was up here Sunday, Monday, all week, averaging about 5 a day. Most days On hit or miss. Some will be 2, just depends on the size.
So do you do anything besides the quilting? Is it all together?
We have fabric in here too, so when people come in, we greet them and help them with whatever fabric they need, and
Okay.
I just keep it running. If it stops, I'll break away and go start it back and get the other lady that works with me to help, and then I'll come back.
So how many hours a week do you put in doing this quilting passion of yours?
A lot. I don't really know.
You don't know. How many hours a day do you, what, like if you had to average, how many hours a day do you think you?
I get here at 7 and I leave 6, 8 o'clock at night.
Wow. So do you have a life besides from quilting?
I have a 1-year-old.
Oh my God. Oh my, are you crazy? Good Lord. You've got your hands sure enough full, don't you?
I do, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay, so you're not gonna have a nervous breakdown or anything with your workload that you've got.
No, sir. I hope not.
Well, I hope not too. I hope not too. You've got a great personality, and I can tell that you're good with a person that's gonna be good with customers.
Thank you.
I have somebody gave me a comment that said Ava has a great shop with lots of fabric. So
Oh, thank you.
yeah. Okay. All right, let's move on here. I'm trying to get over the shock of all of you putting so much into this, and you've got your hands full. Okay. So now your quilts right now, do you just do edge to edge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so somebody comes in, do people bring their quilt tops that they've already put together in, or
They do.
okay. And so how do you charge? By the hour, by the square inch?
It's by the square inch, but I really don't know how much I charge a square inch. All I know is the formula.
Okay. So what is the formula that you
Length times width divided by 36 divided by 3 times 1.75 plus 8.
Okay. How did you do in algebra when you were in high school?
Not good. I was close to failing.
So so do you think you've have you ever made a mistake on what you're charging somebody, or you probably may not even know?
I have.
Okay.
Before the shop, whenever I bought the shop, I talked to Miss Dee Dee and she was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "I don't know." And she's like, "You're working yourself to death for nothing." And I was like, "I don't know. I just found this formula and I ran with it." So
Okay. Okay. So you don't know how many cents per square inch that figures out to, do you?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I've been telling myself I was going to figure it out, but I haven't actually had time to sit down and do it yet.
Well, in your defense, I will say that we kind of called you last minute, and we didn't give you a lot of lead time. So I want to just tell you, you're doing great, Ava. You're doing fantastic, and
Thank you.
we're glad to have you on here. Okay. So do you know how many quilts you've done since you started in January? About, or you know how many you've been doing every month about?
I don't. I personally, for myself, last year, I think I did 28. And then I had, no, that's not last year. That's going to be start to finish was 28. I don't know how many I've done this year. I keep it all in a folder, but I haven't counted it yet.
So tell me about your organization of like your paperwork and your business and stuff. Do you have any, what do you throw everything in a manila folder, or?
I don't. I keep my quilting for the month in a manila folder, and then at the end of the month, I'll put it in a different file and put it in a little tote box. So it'll be labeled, and then everything else I have a filing cabinet for.
Okay, okay. So everything, all your record keeping is on physical paper records.
It
You keep,
is.
you don't keep anything on the computer, really?
Well, we have a online system, so when we ring it out, we put it in under quilting or batting and stuff like that. So I could go back in and look at it and see exactly how much it was for quilting and all of that
Okay.
too.
Do you have something that was set up probably with Miss Dee Dee's, when Miss Dee Dee had the shop and
Yes, sir.
already kind of in place? Well, that's good. That's beneficial. That's beneficial. Okay. We need to have you back again, like in 5 years, and just see what the journey has been like. I would love to be able to jump 5 years down the road and see how you have evolved. Because I have a feeling that you're going to evolve in some of your organizational skills as you go on.
Thank you. I'd love to come back.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. What else do I need to ask you? So, okay, tell us about your shop. What's the name of your shop now that you have?
Stitched in Faith Quilt Shop.
Stitched in Faith in Mangum, Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
Are you close to the Mississippi border up there?
I am.
Okay. My home folks are from right across the border from where you are, around the Delta of Mississippi, you know.
The Delta's not very far. The Delta's probably like 45 minutes, an hour.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we might know some of the same people. Okay, Stitched in Faith in Mangum, Louisiana. Um, So at your shop there, you have like batting, wide back fabrics,
We have batting, wide back fabrics, Moda, QT, um,
okay,
Cave, Ruby Star. We have a little bit of it all.
okay. And do you do any other services besides quilting? Do you do like binding of the quilts?
We do.
Okay. Um, have you have you done any t-shirt quilts?
I do. I actually just added that to my business
Okay.
probably a month and a half ago.
And what do you think about, are they hard to do? How do you like t-shirt quilts?
They're not hard. It's just time consuming. It's time consuming to press all of your stabilizer to it. But other than that, it's super easy, super fast once you get that done.
Yeah, from what I hear from everybody, the key is that stabilizer.
Yes.
Man, I've talked to people in tech support that have tried to do it without stabilizer, and it's just,
I found the easiest way to do it is to cut your stabilizer into your square that you're the size of your square you're going to do your t-shirt. And then once you press it, go back in and square it up again because your shirt's going to stretch once you start pressing it and everything. So that's the easiest way. And then all of your points will match and your seams will nest.
okay, awesome, awesome. I have a question. I think her name is Georgiana at ymail.com. Anyway, she's asking, how do you choose your fabrics for your stock?
We have reps that come and they'll show us like what's coming and we'll look at it, and you can't get everything that you like, so you have to have other people's opinions too. I have some ladies that sit in the back and sew because we just let them sit back there and sew, and if I like it, then I get their input on it, and if we just tally it up.
Okay. So at this point, you're still quite new on your journey compared to a lot of the people. Although you've had experience doing business since what 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have what's been the hardest part of the journey that you had up until now? Can you think of anything that's been like a difficulty for you, for the people that are watching? Or has it all just been sunshine and rainbows?
It hasn't been sunshine and rainbows, but it hasn't been bad either. The only thing that I will say is it gets stressful. You get nervous, but it'll get better.
Right. You get a little bit stressful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, but if you love it, I mean, and like I said, this is my passion. It just pushes you to keep doing it and to tell more people about you, and don't let the stress get in the way, and don't let the fear. Just step out there and do it.
So, so what are you doing right now to, like try to get more, customers or build your business? What are you doing right now?
So we recently went online, so I'm working really hard to build it right now. We have a Facebook group. I'm trying to make posts on it. I actually went and spoke to a group of, it was supposed to be, I think 30. It was like 10 of them this morning, maybe. I went and spoke to them at lunch and just kind of told them about us and let them know where we were and what we had to offer. And then now I'm talking to y'all. And when Holly messaged me, I was so excited. I was like, this is it.
Well, so this, Mangum, Louisiana, is there, are there some, quilt guilds in that area or?
We have a like one in Monroe, which is about 30 minutes away from us, but we don't actually have a guild in Mangum. We have we have some groups in like Winsboro, which is 10 to 15 minutes, but we don't have a huge guild. Not that, I mean, I don't think so. I think we mostly have groups beside Monroe.
Okay, so you're in a fairly rural area, not a big city area, right?
No, we are very small in the country.
I can tell by listening to you. Me and you are from some of the same type of areas. So,
Mangum doesn't even have red lights. We just have stop signs. That's how small we are.
yeah, I can relate. I can relate. Yes. Okay. So, so in the last um since January, um, you feel you have been growing your customer base since.
Yes, sir.
And what do you think has been your what's causing it to grow? Just all that stuff you just told me, or what?
Yes, sir.
What do you know? Can you pick out of that stuff you said is any of that that you think is the most you've had the most success with?
I don't,
Just all of it kind of
a
together?
little bit of all of it.
Okay, okay. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just asking different things because a lot of the people that we talk to are, we talk to some people that are in the middle of giant cities and they, within a few blocks of where they live, they have, 5 different quilt guilds, And so your situation is totally different because you are spread out and spaced out. Um, have you done any uh, communication with customers by mail or shipping any of your quilts?
We've shipped some out. We actually, like I said, we just went online. So we have online orders that come and we love to ship out. That's with us being so small. That's what, whenever our system has a little bell. And so it'll have a red dot if we get an online order. And like me and my other employee, we'll
You're
start
saying a bell,
yelling.
right?
Yes, it's a bell. And it'll just have a red dot on the
You're from
top of the
Louisiana,
iPad.
yeah. Not a
And so
bell, it's a bell. Yeah.
we'll start yelling and we'll say, we got an order, we got an order. And we get so excited.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And I will tell you that I've talked to a lot of people that they've been able to capitalize on a lot of the shipping and by mail business. So, you might being in your area where you don't have as many concentration of people right around you, that might be something that you can look at too and concentrate on that. So most of the time when you have customers, when you're doing a quilt for somebody, do they normally just come in personally and bring it to you?
For my long arming, they do, or you can mail them. We do have some people that mail them, and we'll mail it back to you when we get it ready.
And do you normally have to do you spend any time like sitting down with the customer when they bring it in? Or they pretty much know what they want and they can just drop it off, or?
We have a book, and it's a little blue binder, and we have our patterns printed out so they can flip through them and see different patterns that they like. And if they are looking for something specific, I get on my phone or my iPad and I pull up the store and I'll type in what they're looking for. And if we find one they like, then I'll get it for them.
Okay. Do you have any difficult stories yet at this point? Like you've had a tough time with a customer or dealing with anything for a customer, or?
Not yet.
Okay. You probably will at some point as time goes on.
I hope not.
Well, the fact is, there's difficult people out there in the world, and eventually some of them are going to cross your path. So just be ready for it. And okay. So let me ask you, Ava, who would you say has been your biggest cheerleader or support system through this journey?
Miss Dee Dee and my family. Nobody hesitated. They've all been there, and they've all been one phone call away.
Awesome. So is your does your family live there? You live there around you in the same area?
They do. We live right next door to each other.
Okay. So prior to when you're 21, you started your business. I'm assuming that have you had experience in the past, like working for other people?
I did.
And so now you're pretty much working for yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
And so tell us a little bit about what's different. Is it better working for yourself? Tell us a little bit about the transition between those two, working for yourself versus working for somebody else.
I worked for a big company before, and I didn't really like it because you was just a number. Like, they didn't care how you felt and what all you went through. You could do as much as you could, but it still, at the end of the day, it didn't matter. And so whenever I decided to do this, I actually sat some of the ladies down and I was like, I don't want you to feel like that. Like, if there's something that I need to work on, I want you to let me know, because I want to be the best person that I can be for you. And I want you to love coming up here. I don't want you to dread coming to work.
So is there anything, I mean, you are into the long arming, what are we, you're 9 months into it now? Is there anything that you wish you would have known when you first started out that you know now that you didn't know then?
I wish I would have known more about, like, the custom part of it on the computer. And because I had no idea about that until just recently. And that's the only other thing. But then at the same time, if you're new to it, you would get scared with all of it thrown at you.
Yes. So, did you get the new owner training with
I did.
your machine? Okay. Um, have you felt like that's been a big advantage for you
It has.
because that's something that they didn't have in years past. That's relatively new, just all the video courses. Has that been the primary way that you've learned, or has it been like through your own experience? how have you learned and gotten better at while working on your Statler?
Just people showing me ways and watching videos on it.
Okay. And of course, with that new owner training, it comes with a one-on-one session. You can have the Zoom calls with some of the educators. Did you avail yourself of any of that? Ever do like a one-on-one?
No, sir.
Yeah, I would recommend you do that. People that get the new owner training, a lot of times I'll tell them, just anytime you have something you have a question about while you're working on the Statler, write it down, and you get a few things written down on a list, and then just call for your free, it's already paid for, your one-on-one session. They'll meet with you on a Zoom meeting like we're doing here, and you can go over a lot of stuff. So, all right. Well, Ava, so it's been a long 9 months ago that you've started on this Gammill long arm journey. Do you somebody that would be thinking about doing this right now, do you have any advice or anything that you could think of? Somebody is thinking about doing the same thing you're doing?
Do it. I was so scared I would regret it. I have no regrets. I love it. I'm so happy I did it, and I wish I would have done it years before.
Not too many years before. That's good. So you really do. You have no regrets, and you are really glad that you've taken the journey that you're on right now.
I am.
Great, great. Well, great. I'll tell you, it's been inspiring to talk to somebody as young as that really is happy in what you're doing in this quilting with your Gammill machine. Ava, but I do want to give you a chance to share how people can either get in touch with you. Can people contact you and maybe do like a shipping job with
Yes.
quilting? Tell us all the ways that we can get in touch with you, or if somebody wants to contact you or get more information about you, just tell us all the ways we can, and take your time.
So, like I said, we have our own website now, and our website is stitchedinfaithquiltshop.com. If you do Facebook, you can follow us on Facebook at Stitched in Faith Quilt Shop, and you can private message us or anything like that. Our phone number is also attached, but I'll say it now. It's 318-248-2505. And if you have any questions or can't figure out the website or anything else, then you can just reach out and give us a call, and we'll help you in every way that we can.
Okay. So stitchedinfaithquiltshop.com, right?
Yes, sir.
And on Facebook, what is it? Same thing, Stitched in Faith
It
Quilting?
is.
Okay. And share that number one more time.
318-248-2505.
All right. So contact Ava so they'll see that bell and be all happy. Ava, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Do you have anything else you need to share before you go?
That's it. And I appreciate y'all, and I thank y'all for letting me be on here.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on here. And if anybody has any questions, I'm sure they'll be contacting you. And until next time, we're going to say goodbye for Quilting Business Success. Ava, thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
those of you who are watching, thank you. Have a great day.